there he is, always involved in some kind of hijinks. He is Joe Schad. Joe, how you doing, baby? How you feeling?
What's up, buddy? I'm doing well. Thanks for having me today.
Love having you as always, my brother. And of course, we thank the great people at Hijinks Sports Grill, proud sponsors of our segment with Joe Schad. We tweeted out yesterday a picture from the lovely ladies over
And I
at.
retweeted it.
I know. I saw that. I saw it. You should.
People were confused. They said, "Oh, that's the Dolphins cheerleaders. That's not the waitresses." No, those are in fact the servers.
Exactly. Those are the servers, and they happen to also be Dolphins cheerleaders too at the same time. It was a lot of beauty that was involved in that shot there at Hijinks Sports Grill. So
I need to get over there. I'm still trying to get a ride. I'm still waiting on Adam Beasley. If you're out there, Safed Dean, David Furonis. I know that some of those folks are at the Mike McDaniel press conference in Miami Gardens, which is about to start. But Miami Gardens is east, right? East enough. They can
yes,
just jump on. You can jump on, 95 or the Turnpike or something and scoot up here. Pick me up.
Veronis will do it.
Okay.
Safed will do it. I told you already. Don't count on Beasley. I already told you that. You cannot count on Beasley, bro. Okay, so you got to go with the other guys, or me and Sean, of course. You can always count on us. Plus, you've got to take us to Hijinks after you've bragged so much about their wings and all that stuff. We got to go try it, bro. I mean,
Yeah,
we
the
got.
sriracha wings with the onions. You got to get them.
There you go. So we gotta figure it out. All right. Joe, Buffalo Bills players are falling down left and right. And the line is coming down. It was started at 6.5. It's down to 5 now. That Buffalo is favored. So people are starting to get on the Dolphins bandwagon right now. What do you think about that?
Yeah, it's interesting. The line is all over the place. Started at 4, 4.5, 5, all the way up to 6. Then after the injury news came down, it started to bump down 5.5. You can even find 5, 4.5. So, it's a lot of confusion out there in the betting world about what to do. The betting world really liked Buffalo to rout the Dolphins, but these injuries are going to be a factor. Just moments ago, McDermott, the Bills coach, announcing that they will be without star safety Micah Hyde. They'll be without their third corner, Dane Jackson, and they'll be without former Dolphin defensive tackle Jordan Phillips. These are key injuries.
Yep.
And also, safety Jordan Poyer is questionable. Now, you might remember the Bills in a recent game decided to shelve a lot of their players when they didn't need to necessarily beat the Dolphins, and the Dolphins still got their butts kicked. So certainly nobody is suggesting this is now a slam dunk,
No,
but
not even
these
close.
injuries have to be a factor. Mike McDaniel, very smart guy. Maybe he finds out a way to exploit a couple of rookie Bills corners and a couple of safeties who are either banged up or not quite as good as the Pro Bowlers.
It's funny because nobody talks that Miami's missing their own starting corner. Right? It's like, yeah, they're 2-0. They're just fine. Byron Jones. Oh, who's that? And so that's kind of, it's funny because Miami's also playing without one of their top players in their secondary, and nobody mentions that, and that is an issue for them. You know what I'm saying?
Well, Buff, yeah, you're right. And it's especially an issue this week and next week.
Yeah.
Xavier Howard says he's fine despite a little bit of a groin injury. He has had a little bit of a trouble chasing Stephon Diggs on the crossing routes in past matchups. Dolphins have gotten killed on that. And Nick Needham telling reporters able to attend this week in Miami Gardens that he needs to be better, that he's having a little bit of an adjustment, having focused almost exclusively on the slot and now being asked to play some more outside corner. And Gabe Davis, formerly known as Gabriel Davis, the Bills' fast receiver, he says he's returning from injury. So, I think they'll be. I was wrong about the Bills, the Ravens Dolphins game. I thought it would be low scoring. It ended up high scoring. I guess that's the nature of the NFL now, and certainly we expect to see points in this game on Sunday. So maybe I'll be wrong again.
Yes. Are you Are you liking the Dolphins' chances in this one?
Well, you have to think that the Bills are still the favorite to win this particular ball game. I mean, they've dominated the series in recent years until the Dolphins show that they can slow Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs, and that they can perform better against a mobile quarterback than they did last week against Lamar Jackson. It's just hard to imagine how they're going to slow down the Bills' offense. So the question then becomes, all right, is this now a team that can outscore people? And certainly encouraging signs. Dolphins have all kinds of weapons on offense, and that makes things exciting. That means that you feel like, hey, the Bills. I believe they've scored a touchdown on their first drive in 7 straight games. That's just a ridiculous statistic. So even if the Dolphins fall behind 7-0, 14-0, you still think they got a shot, and so that's a change of pace, a nice change of pace.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. We look at the way they're going to attack Tua. Are you expecting them to try to send the house and try to disrupt him? Because to me, that's probably the only way you're going to really be able to slow that offense down. If you give Tua any time with that speed out there, I don't know how you really. I just think Miami will end up finding ways to score points and get yards, a lot of yards on you. And so, how do you expect them to attack Tua?
Well, this is interesting. Out of Dolphins camp, head coach Mike McDaniel saying Teron Armstead's tackle status is, quote, up in the air. I don't think he knows yet if he will play. That is not good. You were correct. And you know what? It's hard to disagree with the notion that the Dolphins had to expect Teron Armstead was going to miss a handful of games this year. That's what has happened in recent years. So, I don't like Von Miller
You don't like
going
him?
against.
You don't
I
like
don't
him at
like
all?
Von Miller having to go against not Teron Armstead. You know what I mean?
You're right. No, it's
So that could
very.
be a significant issue. Um,
I can see Alec Ingold very busy on Sunday, as he's the one that's chipping on one side and helping out on the Von Miller side.
the
So
pendulum keeps swimming back and forth on this thing, right? You say if you're the Bills, you're thinking, all right, well, if we're without one or two corners, if we're without two corners, including our star Tre'Davious White, by the way, no one talks about that; he's out. If you're without two corners and maybe two safeties, well, you know what? You maybe don't blitz as often,
right,
right? And
right.
then if Teron Armstead is out, well, you know what? We like our chances one on one. We don't need to bring extra guys. So that this could be real problematic for Tua. Um, Gosh, I hope Armstead plays.
Yeah. Oh well, I mean, obviously, but I mean, this has kind of been the MO with him. He
What
can't
would you do
stay.
though?
He can never stay healthy. He's always been, an injury prone guy, and this is part of the game. When you sign him, you know that he's going to end up missing a couple games because his body just doesn't hold up
It's
overall.
a toe. I mean, it's a toe. I mean, the guy played through it and played well last week. So
Yeah.
McDaniel also said he wants to wait and see for Xavier's availability. I don't believe that one. I think X is playing.
Well, if he's practicing, he should be playing.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Now, if Tehran isn't
unless
practicing,
it's a setback. Yeah, but McDaniel said Teron doesn't need to practice to play, and I agree with that. If he's the kind of guy at this point in his career, he can play without practicing.
yeah. Did you watch the Kurt Warner video on Tua?
Yeah, I watched them all. I watched Kurt Warner. I watched Michael Vick. Mike did a nice job. I retweeted that one. You can find it at Shad Joe. Michael Vick demonstrated how in the Mike McDaniel offense, Tua is benefited by the Dolphins leading the NFL in pre-snap motion and movement and shifts, and how that allows him to get a good read of whether the defense is in man or zone. And both Kurt Warner and Michael Vick, and I have respect for anybody who's played quarterback in the NFL, uh, yes, even Matt Hasselbeck and Chris Sims, they can explain things a little better than I can in terms of how Tua last week showed nice development in terms of how he used his eyes to manipulate the opposing safeties.
Yeah, but
And
on the
yeah,
Chris Sims one, don't lump him with those other guys. he's a clickbait artist, bro. He's not. That idiot said that he can't throw deep and that
Well,
he can't run a powerful offense or whatever. He's a moron, dude. Please
well,
don't.
Tua
At,
has
at
improved.
least Kurt Warner breaks it down and gives you intelligence and shows you how Tua is actually playing the game the right way. And
Yeah, I mean, after watching those videos, I would have to strongly disagree with what Colin Cowherd said earlier this week. He
wh-
didn't give Tua credit
why
and
why
his
are you
I
listening
think
to
he
Colin
should have.
Cowherd, bro? Why
Well, I
why do you
mean,
why would you watch Colin Cowherd? What
I'm telling you,
what
I
at
disagree.
what I know, but at what point does that guy have any credibility, and what proves that he knows anything about football, dude? Because he's another one of those clickbait idiots. Him, Chris Sims,
Well, he does
Alturd, all
clickbait's
these
not the right phrase because
baseless is the other guy. All those idiots, all they want to do is get a rise out of people. They go by what their producers tell them what to do. Hey, this is hot on social media. This is what is getting a rise out of people. And sure enough, there he is, Bayless or Calturd or Sims is also turned in to that dude also. Those people aren't really analyzing things. They're just trying to get a rise out of people. That's all they do. I don't know. I mean, you could
yeah,
watch
I
it.
mean, Sam Acho said on ESPN this morning that he believes Tua will have a better game than Josh Allen on Sunday, and Ryan Clark, of course, flipped out, and so I don't think I have to be honest. I don't in today's media world. I don't think that that's entirely unique. I think this debate culture is something that I guess Skip Bayless and Stephen A. Smith really kind of
Right.
created the template, and it
Right.
can become annoying. It can become monotonous. But I've been in some of those meetings where you remember I worked for that company for 11 years, one of those companies, and I've been in that meeting where they say, "Who wants to argue which side?"
Right.
And
Exactly.
so
I
it's
know
kind
how
of
the
like
game
the
is
it's
played.
kind of like the WWE.
Yeah, we they tried to do that at QAM at times.
Okay.
One time they approached me about it and they said, "Hey, we want you to do this and you play the bad guy." And I'm like, "No, I'm not going to do it because that's not what I believe. So I'm not doing that." And so, you don't want to just take the side just for the no, I don't do that. When I tell you something, it's because I believe in it. So no, I'm not. I don't do those kind of things. I've never done that. I'll shock you, but I'll shock you with the truth. I'll shock you and I'll tell you the Flores is going to get fired in a winning streak. And I'll shock you and I'll tell you better fire Dale Talon because I have the balls to say it before anybody else. But that doesn't mean that I'm doing things for just shock value of it. No, I do it because I believe in it. It might be shocking to you at the moment, but then as time goes on, you're going to go, whoa, well, I guess he was right. It wasn't really a shock. It's what he believed in. And it's the same thing with Tua. As I've told you and many other people, he's Joe Montana, he's Drew Brees, he's Fran Tarkenton, he's those same dudes, bro. And that's the problem in the end. That's the problem with a lot of people that cover the league and fantasy football and all this shit. We have no patience, and then we somehow morph into we think a quarterback only is 6'5" and can throw the ball 90 yards, and that makes him a great quarterback. And that's why people freak out when I say Tua is a better quarterback than Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert's a better talent, not a better quarterback, because Tua has been proven it since college that he's the better quarterback, not the better talent. I know that. Vince Young is more talented than Tua ever was. That doesn't mean he's a better quarterback. And that's the problem I think we have in our society, understanding what a quarterback is and what a freakish talent is.
What's the question?
What do you think?
What do I think about talent versus production? And
No, quarterback. No, no. The
I don't
difference
know. I mean,
a
well, yeah.
talent
I mean,
and a
yeah.
quarterback.
I mean, listen. When you look at Tom Brady, let's think about Tom Brady. Who's the goat, right? Tom Brady is the goat,
Mhm.
and it is true that Tom Brady largely succeeded and was a champion time and time again by focusing on short and intermediate passes. So
Joe
He has
Montana.
proven,
He
yeah,
took
he has
over
proved.
the other GOAT that also did short and intermediate passes, Joe Montana.
Yeah. Now, I'm not comparing Tua to Tom Brady because Tua will have to show tremendous growth and development in
Of
lots of
course.
areas. How to read defenses, how to prepare for the opponent, how to understand everything that's coming at him, and he's shown some growth and it's very encouraging. But yeah, in terms of not having to necessarily, I mean, look, Kyle Bowler, we all know Jamarcus Russell, right? We know that,
Dude, I
you
watched
know,
Kyle Bowler on his knees at
mhm.
the Senior Bowl throw
Well,
the ball through the
you might
goalpost.
want to you might want to rephrase that there, Big O.
Seriously, no, he was on his knees in the Senior Bowl at the 50-yard line. I know what it sounds like, but he threw the ball right through the goalpost, and from that, it made him a first rounder. And that's my point. And there's lots of people. Ryan Leaf was Jeff
Right,
George is one of the 5 greatest arms I have ever seen in my life. Do I
right.
want him in a key moment? No, because he's going to pee in his pants.
Now
I
I
don't care
know,
how
I
talented he
know,
was.
but I do think that I was wrong on Justin Herbert. I do think that is this guy is going to go to a lot of Pro Bowls. And I think that this guy is going to win a lot of playoff games. And the same about Josh Allen, and it's interesting that Josh says, I give credit to Tua because I also dealt with skepticism and naysayers. And it's for different reasons. That is an interesting thing, right? So everyone thought that Josh Allen was very inaccurate, and he proved that you could improve your accuracy, which most quarterback coaches and offensive coordinators will tell you can't. You either have that or you don't.
I'm
And
actually believing
yeah,
this with Josh Allen. He never had
yeah,
proper coaching, and he was in
coaching.
crap.
Okay.
He was in crappy environments, Wyoming,
Did,
and
yeah.
so apparently his high school also was crappy too.
Mm,
And so I think that he didn't get coaching until he got to the NFL, and that's why he looked like a disaster when we saw him at the Senior Bowl. When you watched him at Wyoming, and you saw the lowlights, not the highlights at Wyoming, and he had such crappy talent around him and probably not great coaching. And you look at Steve Young in Tampa, but you look at him at the LA Express and you look at him with the Niners, and he's a completely different player. You look at Tua now with McDaniel compared to the mess from last year, and it's two different players. Environments change everything, and I'm starting to believe that we were just fooled with Josh Allen. He was so raw still that he really never got a proper chance to really showcase his skills. And luckily for Buffalo, they saw what most people didn't, and they thought they could polish up that coal into a diamond. And
right.
brother, they did
Well,
it because I've never
J-
seen that ever again. The guy
right.
that's inaccurate never becomes accurate. This is
Now,
this is the one time.
Justin Herbert is a much better player in the NFL than he was in college. Now, you and I both would like to see the University of Miami football program flourish. I'm
Mhm.
sure we're both happy to see Mario Cristobal, return. It was shocking to me that he would leave Oregon to come back home. But there are some who wonder why Justin Herbert did not have more success in college
Environment.
playing for Mario Cristobal.
Environment. Did you watch him this week?
Okay.
This week against Texas A&M. Your offense can't score. You can't get past. You can't get into the red. You're finally in the red zone, 3rd and 6 on the goal line, and you hand it off. You didn't give it to Tyler Van Dyke, oh, brother. I'm living it.
So you're not a fan of the Cristobal Canes offense right now,
No, I'm a fan of Cristobal. I'm not a fan of being conservative. I
right?
believe in today's football, college or the NFL. If you're conservative, you die, and you will not end up winning. Bless him, rest in peace. But part of Sperano's problem was he would settle for 3 points, and you can't settle in college, and you can't settle in the NFL for three. You've got to do everything you can to get seven. And I thought this week he showed a little conservativeness in that decision. And I know that he was conservative at Oregon because, dude, I know Justin Herbert at Oregon for more running than passing. And that's where the things that, are you maybe he knows that Justin isn't great in the clutch or something or whatever. I don't know, because in a very short time in his career here, he's got 4 fourth quarter pick sixes, all losses, And and when he's been put in those kind of positions in a very short career, he has not lived up to those moments. Last year, he missed the playoffs because he lost against Houston. He had a chance to cut it to one score, and he throws a pick six, and the game's over. So I don't know what to think of Justin Herbert. Is he? I know he's a freak talent. So was Jeff George, but is he clutch? Because
You
Jeff
can't
George wasn't.
you
You know what I
can't
mean?
compare Jeff George to Justin Herbert. I mean,
No, I know I can't.
Justin Herbert has already proven to be a far more successful NFL player than Jeff George ever was.
What? What did you just say?
Justin Herbert has already
Do you,
proven
do
to
you know
be
Jeff George's stats? He's got stats.
my
Like serious.
recollections. Yeah, I mean, my recollections of Jeff George are not good.
Because he's a
Yeah,
choker.
right.
Because he's a choker is why that's my point. That's exactly my point with Jeff George. That's why your recollection is not good, but the loser actually put up a bunch of really good stats.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
know,
58% completions.
you're looking
He
it up
threw
now?
a Yeah, I mean, he threw 113 picks. I don't know.
No, I know, but how many touchdowns did he throw?
Yeah, I mean, 154. That's not a great ratio. 154 to 113. He's
I
kind of like
bet
a pitcher who strikes a lot of guys out, but you can't stand him because he's constantly walking people.
I
It's
know.
kind of Jameis Winston like. I mean, he threw
But
for
he he has
4,000 yards one
yeah,
year, 3,900 another year, but
3,700 another year. I'm looking at it right now.
but but
And
here, but
those
you're right. Two and
and by the
nine,
way,
seven
the
and
year he
nine,
threw
0-3,
the
4
year
and
he threw
12.
yeah, the year he threw 3,900, it was 29 and 9. The touchdowns and interception ratio on that
Right.
one. But
But
and
here's the
that's
thing:
and for
40
him that's great. For him that was
Jeff
fantastic.
George, Jeff George, 46 and 78
Yeah.
career record. Now, here's the thing: there's zero chance that Justin Herbert finishes his NFL career with a sub 500 win loss record. No way. It's never going
Oh,
to
oh,
happen. I
I
would
know.
I would bet I would
He's
bet
already
my left
500.
I
He's
would
already
bet my
500.
left. Well, I'm telling you, I would bet my left arm that this guy is not going to finish his career in a Jeff George like fashion.
Okay.
No way.
All right. I'm just saying, he's already under 500. So
I shouldn't bet my left arm. I'm already without a left
yeah,
arm. So
I don't know if I don't know if I'm you. I would bet because he has not proven anything clutch at any point in his career. In the gene, see, you saw the clutch gene with Tua already. It's there. It's been there. You saw it at Alabama. Okay, so he's done it at the highest level in college. At the NFL level, he hasn't had half the talent that Justin Herbert has in the first 2 years. Now he has the talent. Now we're going to really compare to see how things are working out between those two guys when it comes to stats. I'm going to be really interested to see Tua's stats and Justin Herbert's stats, and then Tua's wins and losses compared to Tua's wins and losses. Because now we're more an even level playing field. And when we weren't at an even level playing field, Tua outplayed him,
one
wins
thing too.
and beat him.
Okay, so one thing Tua has done that we want to make sure to give him credit for is he has put up really good statistics in the fourth quarter early in his career. Now, it is true
Money.
that this was only Tua's third come from behind victory led. But I think that there's a good chance, a much better chance that we'll see a few more of those come from behind victories this year. I think he's got at least a couple of more in him this year. And by the way, I wrote a really nice newsletter about Tua. Do you get the newsletter, the
I saw
Dolphins
it.
Pulse newsletter?
I saw
Okay.
it.
I want to make sure
All
you
right.
read it. I want folks
I
to sign.
know.
It's free, all right. And I basically write a column and I email it to you on Friday morning. If you like the Dolphins, why not get it? So
Yes.
type in type in Palm Beach Post newsletters. Click on Dolphins Pulse. I
Yeah,
send you an email on Friday morning.
it seems like the flip-flopping, you wanted him early, but then you kind of got off his bandwagon and now you're kind of getting back on the bandwagon. So it's kind of been a peaks and valley for you on your Tua train.
Well, what I addressed in the newsletter
I saw it.
is, yeah, what I addressed is the back and forth with Nick Hicks, to his personal trainer, And so, check that out. I think it's interesting. I try to explain to Nick about how, uh, I don't know the phrasing I used, just about objectivity and about
Right.
how I have, look, I mean, we all have a role, right? Nick concedes his role is to be, in a Mike McDaniel like way, a perpetual cheerleader, booster, and advocate for
Of course.
Tua Tagovailoa. As,
Right.
as, as a sports journalist, that's not really my role.
No, it's
You know
not.
what I mean?
No.
Yeah. So, and I appreciate you acknowledging that.
No, it's definitely not. Hey, listen, I'm objective and a fan because I openly will say I root for the teams. I'm
Mm.
born and raised here, dude. What am I going to lie to you,
Well, I
brother?
prefer the Dolphins to win, and I prefer Tua to play well.
Of
I
course, it's a lot.
prefer
Your
that.
job's a
It's
lot
bet.
easier.
Yeah, it's more fun. Everybody's
Yes.
happy. More people read the stories. They do.
Yeah.
People say, "Oh, you write negative stuff for clicks." Actually, that's not how it works. The most read stuff is the stuff when things are going well.
Yeah. Yeah. No. No.
All right. So I
And you're not.
appreciate I
And by the way,
appreciate you recognizing that too.
I've known your ass for 20 years. You're not a clickbait artist. You'll say what you believe. And,
Yeah.
for a little while there, you were just wrong about Tua, thinking that he can't really get it done or arm or whatever. That's
Well,
all.
as
Now
I
you're realizing that he's the
I
man.
wrote 12 or 15 columns going into the draft about how it would be a terrible mistake that the Dolphins franchise would never live down if they passed on Tua. So, as I wrote in the Dolphins Pulse newsletter, available for free on the internet, I actually would like to be right on that. I hope I am.
But can you answer one thing? I'll let you go with this.
Yeah.
Why did so many people have trouble understanding what I was saying the entire year last year? There's no talent and the coaching is
Well, we
terrible.
did. Well,
Not the
we did.
quarterback.
Yeah. No, no.
It's
Well,
not
yeah.
the quarterback.
We did. To be fair, we did point out how bad the coaching was, how bad a decision it was by Brian Flores to go with the co-offensive coordinator disaster plan. We did point out how bad the blocking was. We did point out that the receivers were not gaining separation. So, we did point that stuff out. It wasn't as though we
But nobody went
completely
to
overlooked.
nobody went to my extreme, like, stop blaming Tua. It has nothing to do with him. You
Well, see,
cannot
that's where we
survive in this
disagreed. That's
environment.
where we disagreed. The quote that you just made, quote, nothing to do with Tua. Come on.
Yeah,
That's
it
not, that
doesn't.
was never
You
fair. That was
cannot
never a fair
succeed,
comment.
brother, you
How can you
can't
say it had nothing to do with Tua? Tua,
because
and I mentioned this in the Dolphins Pulse newsletter, Tua himself said that his performance in his first 2 years was not satisfactory. That's
it
Tua
when he was not gonna
acknowledged it.
brag about himself, dude. Come on,
Okay,
bro.
well, so that's just humility. It's not honesty.
Yeah,
Okay,
we're talking about Tua. He's all humility.
he
Come
is.
on, bro. I
He
mean,
is.
come on.
All right, listen. If anybody out there wants to take me over to the Hijinks Sports Bar and Grill for some
Please.
wings, hit me up on Twitter. Hit me up on I can't drive. Right? I'm not allowed. Not supposed to drive. All right, so I need a ride. So anybody in, hit
I
me up
think we
on
should
Twitter.
just make a GoFundMe page
All
for you to get an Uber.
right. Hit me up on Twitter.
All right.
Shad Joe. Thanks, guys.
Shad Joe. All right, much love. Have a great weekend and feel better.
See you, buddy.
You got it. There you go. The great Joe Shad. He was right, he was wrong, and now he wants to be right again with Tua.